We are Blackboard. We are Wisconsin.
We told you spring weather would get here, getting a little bit better as we get ready for the second game of this four-game series of Milwaukee Brewers and the Miami Marlins here at Miller Park. Yolis Chassin, start number 5 of this new team, looking for win number 1 here tonight against the Marlins. Well, the offense was big last night, led by this man, Lorenzo Cain, at the top of the order. 2 doubles, a home run, a walk, leading the way for the Brew Crew in a 9-run win in the series opener. Good evening alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minard is our reporter per usual tonight. We'll rock Lorenzo Cain at the top of the order. That seems like a pretty good spot for him. Set the table and then some last night for a huge night for the Milwaukee offense.
And just what the Brewers needed. They've been waiting for this kind of offensive production all season long. Up until yesterday, the Brewers had averaged only 3.5 runs a game, and it only scored more than 5 runs only twice. That's really not what you expect out of spring training. The Brewers are expecting to have big offense. As the weather warms up, you would expect pretty much the same, but this is a very good offensive ball club, both left-handers, right-handers. Aguilar has been outstanding. Ryan Braun with the dramatic home run so far this year. Expect big offense for this Brewers team as the season goes on, and they could use it, take a little bit of pressure off this pitching staff.
All right, they moved the line last night. They had the big fly going as well, including Ryan Braun, who hit another magic number in his stellar career as a Brewer. Sophia Minard caught up with the Brewers left fielder about the big night last night for Brawny. Coming up on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. Voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite, great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. milestone moment for Ryan Braun. 1,000 RBIs in his career.
In last night's win, another milestone moment for Ryan Braun here at Miller Park. His 1,000th career RBI, second best of franchise history to the incomparable and Hall of Famer Robin Yount with more than 1,400. Good evening, everyone. Sophia Minard here at Miller Park. And Ryan Braun is already the franchise leader in home runs with 306. And as we just told you, became the second best Brewer in career RBIs with 1,000 after 1,400 from Robin Yount. So for Braun, it was another milestone moment, one that only comes with a lot of longevity and something that he is very proud of in what he's accomplished in his career. So Braun spoke with me pregame about what that milestone means to him.
It's a special number. I think, you know, when I do get the time to step back and really reflect on it, I'm sure I'll have a better perspective. But it's, you know, a matter of longevity and consistency, which I've always said are the two most challenging parts of our game. So it means that obviously I've been playing for a while now. I've been pretty consistently successful, and I've been a part of some really good offensive teams. Had a lot of good teammates, a lot of guys who put me in the position to have the opportunity to drive in runs. So more than anything, just thankful for having been a part of some really good offensive teams.
Braun back in the starting lineup at left field tonight. Can the Brewers come off their best offensive game on the year and keep it going tonight against the Marlins? We've got first pitch and lineups coming up next here at Miller Park.
Hit the top of the wall and gone. One strike pitch to Braun. And there's a drive. Left center field. It is gone. A three-run blast. And there's a fly ball. Deep center field. And it is back to back. Garcia goes downtown. And it's 12-3 Brew Crew. Ryan Braun in the lineup tonight. Now a member of the 1,000 RBI club. Party of two in franchise history. Only Robin Yount has more. It's getting better here in Milwaukee and throughout the state of Wisconsin as far as the weather, but still cool enough. We'll have it all buttoned up tonight for game 2 of this series. The Brewers and the Miami Marlins on a Friday night here in Milwaukee. Don Mattingly's team 5-13 now. This organization hitting the reset button. A few vets, but a lot of young players again in the lineup tonight for Mattingly. 57 years young today. Here's the batting order for the Marlins, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Derek Dietrich leads things off again, followed by Miguel Rojas and Starlin Castro. Justin Bour hits cleanup. JT Realmuto fifth. Brian Anderson, Lewis Brinson, J.B. Shuck, and Trevor Richards rounding out the Miami batting order that will go up against Jhoulys Chacín.
Yeah, Chacín needs a good start. Very short start his last time out against the Mets. That was in New York. No decision, only 4 innings. He needed 85 pitches to get through 4 innings. 5 hits, but only 1 run, making career start number 6 against Miami. Currently 1-4 against the Fish.
All right, we are ready to roll here. The Brewers with a 3-game run going now, and that's how the Milwaukee Ball Club started this season, so a chance to have its longest winning streak of the year if things go right tonight. As Chacín misses with the first pitch, we are underway at Miller Park. Dietrich last night 0 for 3, a night where the Marlins offense really scuffled with the exception of Lewis Brinson. Managed but 5 hits. Brewers pitching over the last 3 games has allowed all of 11 hits.
Yeah, really good work on the mound. Man, starters are starting to pitch deeper into games. Bullpen continues to be solid. And finally, last night, the offense broke out of it.
Season high in a lot of categories, runs and hits among them. Most importantly, the 12 runs, the big 6-run 6th inning for the Brew Crew, and that man had a whole lot to do with it. Showed the power, Rock, but he also was a part of this team's ability to manufacture offense last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Derek Dietrich.
Yeah, scored on a stolen base, also scored on a wild pitch. Did Kane. Home run last night.
It was a good night. Even though that glove over his face would maybe lead you to believe the opposite.
Maybe he heard a good joke.
I think so.
Not sure. He does enjoy himself out there in the field.
He's finding that top of the batting order to his liking. He's been mostly a 3-hole hitter in his career, but drawing walks well ahead of his career walk rate. But he's hitting leadoff now, so you're going to try to get on base in different ways. Full count to Derek Dietrich, first hitter of the game. The Brewers have been getting that excellent pitching. Bullpen starters, maybe not a ton of innings from the starters, but it's been effective. Chase Anderson, Rock, maybe not at his very best last night, but good enough.
Yeah, pitched into the 6th inning, 5 1/3. Bullpen took over.
There's a hot shot back up the middle, and Dietrich begins the game with a base hit.
Well, let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win here tonight. We're going to be talking about tonight's Brewers starter, Jhoulys Chacín. Needs to have a good start. Early success, first couple of innings. Keep the fish off the bags. He's got to get ahead in the count and manage the pitch count. He's been using a lot of pitches to get, 4 or 5 innings, and that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been able to pitch too deep in games. Strike 1, get that good slider working for strikes.
He will face Miguel Rojas, the shortstop. Rojas had his hitting streak snapped at 10 games last night. So he took an 0 for 4. Marlins actually led briefly on that second Lewis Brinson home run in the top of the 5th. But the Brewers quickly regained the lead, putting 3 on the board in inning number 5 and 7 in the 6th inning. As they did it all. Moving the line and showing the power with Lorenzo Cain, Ryan Braun, and Orlando Arcia going deep.
Yeah, they needed that. I mean, the offense maybe starting to question themselves a little bit. They've run into some really good pitching over the last couple of weeks. Happiest man in the ballpark, Darnell Coles, last night leaving.
No doubt about that. Saw a shot of Lewis Brinson a moment ago. Big night he had, his homecoming, if you will, back to Miller Park after the offseason trade that brought Christian Yelich to Milwaukee. A 2-homer night, the first 2 homers for Brinson as a Miami Marlin. Went deep a couple of times in his brief stay with the big club with the Brewers last year. 1-1 pitch to Rojas.
And slider's always been a big pitch for Chacin. That one kind of rolled into the strike zone. He needs to have that quick late breaking slider that ends up down and away. Don't want to be hanging him.
You're right about the pitch count, though. Ulysses has had to grind it in the mid-80s, even low 90s, to not get through 6 innings of work yet in any one outing. Longest he's gone was on the 4th against St. Louis, 5 2/3. Leadoff single from Derek Dietrich. As we are just getting started. Brewers 11-9. Bounce back after losing the series opener on Monday to Cincinnati 10-4, but since then the starters and bullpen have been in lockdown mode, and Craig Counsell's team has won the last 3 games.
Yeah, Jeremy Jeffress, you had Williams, Drake, and Albers last night. Eat up the last 3 2/3 innings.
Continuing to hang in there step by step, getting a little bit healthier. There's a bouncing ball, and that'll be Shaw flipping to VR for out number 1.
Well, check out the Brewers defense. Good to have these 3 guys back in the lineup all at the same time. Not sure when the last time it was. Braun, Kane, Yelich in the outfield. You got Shaw, Arcia, VR Thames, and Jet Bandy behind home plate. Brewers starting to get a little bit more healthy, getting their pieces in place.
It's a good looking lineup when it's healthy, or even reasonably healthy. Braun's home run, remember, was off the bench, nursing that calf issue, left calf, the same problem that hampered him a year ago. Didn't really have to test it, though, taking the tour after the 3-run homer last night. Starlin Castro at the plate. 1,000 RBIs now for Braun.
That's quite the milestone, as he mentioned in the interviews. There's some pretty good play. That's our words, not his, but you know, the longevity and his ability to stay on the field, which has been put to the test over the last couple of years.
I really appreciated his answer in his conversation with Sophia Minard, talking about you know, guys who are hitting behind him.
Yeah.
And he mentioned Prince Fielder, among others. You know, he also Chris Carter, Adam Wind, and so on and so forth. He gets pitches to hit. He takes advantage of it.
Well, let's face it. I mean, he's been one of the best hitters in the game for a long, long time. I mean, he can give all the credit he wants to the guys behind him, but it's been Ryan Braun and his ability to, you know, stay on the field and more or less, you know, the guys in front of him in the batting order getting on base, you know, first and second hitters.
Craig Counsell refers to it as some longevity numbers. High level for a long time. A ball, 2 strikes to Starlin Castro.
Chacin with that big 2-seamer. He's got good sink on the fastball. Maybe sometimes too much movement. Not always trying to find the corners, but you know, with the big movement, a lot of his pitches end up missing by quite a bit. It's tough to manage movement like that sometimes. Makes it difficult on the catcher sometimes to adjust your target based on the movement that he has any given night. It's one way a catcher can help his pitcher.
Chacin coming over from San Diego, 13 wins with the Padres last year. 2-2 pitch to Castro. At full now to the former Chicago Cub and then Yankee. He came over to Castro as part of the Stanton trade. Breaking ball doesn't break, and it's inside, and Marlins have runners at first and second with 1 out.
And already a high pitch count in the first inning with only 1 out.
Exact opposite of what he and Craig Counsell needs here. He's been grinding through his first 4 starts and being tested here in inning number 1 tonight.
And he now has 11 walks, 11 strikeouts on the season.
And that'll get you into some trouble.
Yeah, that does get you in trouble.
Especially with this man at the plate, Justin Bohr. He's put up some pretty mean numbers at Miller Park the past couple of years. Singled last night. He's hit 3 homers in this yard over his last 13 games. The Marlins had a home series, put that in quotes, here last September because of the hurricane. And these guys had a pretty good dose of Miller Park in a Miami uniform. Those who remain from last year.
All right. Another fire sale for the Marlins. Lost their entire outfield.
And they've done it before. A franchise with 2 World Series championships. Ball 2 strikes now to the Miami first baseman. He's homered 4 times this year. He's driven in 11. Miguel Rojas, the runner at second, Castro at first. The 1-2 pitch, and there's strikeout number 1 for Ulysses Chassin, and that's out number 2.
Yep, 90 miles an hour on the outside corner. And keep trusting that fastball. I'm not sure that's where Bandy wanted it. He's kind of setting up middle in, but again with the movement, maybe Bandy trying to adjust his target to get that pitch on the corner.
2 outs, 2 on. Chassin will face JT Realmuto. This is game 3 of this season for Realmuto. Out with a back issue, came back into the fold on Wednesday or Tuesday I should say, when the Marlins were wrapping up their series against the Yankees in New York. And 0-4 last night, but he's been pretty good on the road, better than a .300 hitter away from Marlins Park.
Yeah, a solid player. I mean, defensively very good. He comes up with big hits. He puts the ball in play for the most part. I would imagine there was a lot of interest in Realmuto in the offseason. All the trades Miami was making to pick up prospects.
Could not have been happy with what's gone on, but the club has some control. Realmuto as a breaking ball drops in there for a called 3rd strike. And Chassin bounces back out of some early trouble. Lorenzo Cain will lead off here in the bottom of the 1st. way out of it. Craig Counsell's team having won 3 straight, 11-9 on the year, as he chats with his pitching coach Derek Johnson. Got Yulise through that first frame. Let's check out the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Lorenzo Cain will lead off, followed by Christian Yelich and Ryan Braun. Travis Shaw, as usual, hitting cleanup, followed by Eric Thames, Jonathan Villar, Orlando Arcia, Jet Bandy, and Yulise Chassin. And that's the lineup that'll face the young right-hander Trevor Richards.
Yeah, 6'2", 190 pounds. He's 24 years old. Very good his last time out, and no decision against the Pirates. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs. Outstanding work in the minor leagues last year.
He has some familiarity with the city of Milwaukee, and we'll get into that story as Lorenzo Cain back at the top of the order. Big night for Low Cain last night. 3 hits, couple of doubles, a home run, and walked. He was busy at the top of that Brewers batting order. And he shoots one up the middle. Rojas the stop, and that's all he'll be able to do. Infield single for Lorenzo Cain.
Yeah, just keep it going. And Lorenzo now with 4 hits in his last 5 official at-bats. Yeah, good work for Cain. Fastball middle away and rolls it right up the middle. Good play by Rojas to get it, but no chance to get Cain at first.
Good start for the Brewers here in the home half of inning number 1. There's Christian Yelich. It's just good the Brewers are able to put these 2 at the top of the order in consecutive games. Yelich just coming off the disabled list earlier in the week. He was on the 10-day DL because of the oblique injury. When they're healthy and together, you get a real taste of why this organization was attracted to both of them. Get things going at that top of the batting order for Milwaukee.
It's been a while since the top 4 has been together.
Last night it was more than 2 weeks, April 4th, since you could even say Cain and Yelich were next to each other in the lineup. Good on base guys, well documented. Somebody who can drive them in. Ryan Braun, his customary 3rd spot in the batting order. 2-0 pitch to Yelich.
Top 2 guys in the batting order for the Brewers. I mean, they work the count as good as it gets. They make you throw strikes, particularly early in the count.
Makes Richards throw one here. It's 3-1. See that average for Yelich. Terrific at getting on base. 444 his on base percentage. 1 home run was a big one. Tied the game. Match up against the Cardinals. Set up Ryan Braun to go back to back and walk it off. There is ball 4. The first 2 are on here for Milwaukee in the first. Now Ryan Braun, another milestone in his stellar career as a Brewer, coming off the bench and going deep, giving him 1,000 career RBIs. Only Robin Yount has more, but it's just those 2 in the 1,000 RBI club.
Yeah, and Braun's got a ways to catch the kid. 400 RBIs.
Getting into some rare air among active players. 300 homers, 1,700 hits, 1,000 RBIs, and 900 runs. Pick some numbers out of the air that not many reach. Guys like Adrian Beltre, Miguel Cabrera, Pujols, Adrian Gonzalez, Robinson Cano. That's the company that Braun's keeping. It's the tower buzz there. 2 balls, no strikes.
look out here. Ryan Braun's going to be looking fastball, middle away. That's a pitch that he's done a lot of damage with over the course of his career. Likes the pitch out there, gets those arms extended.
Already a threat going here for the Brewers. 2-0 pitch.
Yeah, but he got one, but Richards able to get it down in the zone. Richards not overpowering. 92 maybe he's going to top out at. Has a good changeup, and he'll throw a curveball.
24 years old, out of Aviston, Illinois, a little east of St. Louis. Played his college ball at Drury University, St. Louis area, but went undrafted. Pitched an independent ball. Then he was discovered there. Part of his story, there was a good piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel yesterday. In the offseason after 2016, actually had a part-time job here. Miller Coors Brewery, his better half, as they say, at a job downtown Milwaukee. So at the brewery, Richards worked in guest relations.
It's a pretty good move from Miller Brewery to Miller Park.
Very fitting. I say he got the hard hat tour. They were here on their day off Wednesday. So
have you ever done that?
I have not, and I need to. You set that up for me?
Sure. Yeah. I got people.
I know you do. That's why I asked. That was good. He had a chance to take a look around, take it all in. It's a good story. And one of those guys who maybe slipped through the cracks coming out of college. Now here he is in the big leagues.
Yeah, one of 4 rookies in the starting rotation for the Miami Marlins. They have a very young starting rotation.
Don Mattingly is just trying to push his young guys, encourage them as best he can. Pitchers and position players like a Lewis Brinson.
Got to be patient. Don Mattingly. He has been. I talked to Mattingly before the game. Went into the clubhouse for the Marlins. I did not know it was his birthday. I feel bad I didn't wish him happy birthday.
Is it kind of like us? Maybe we're like at a certain age. I mean, you're like, it's okay.
Yeah, most of us don't really get too worked up over it.
Kind of lay low about that. Full count now to Ryan Braun as Trevor Richards getting into some trouble. Let's see now if Brawny gets a pitch to drive. Kane at second, Yelich at first. 3-2 on the way. And this is hit in the air, right field. Justin Bohr will not run it down. J.B. Shuck out there in right field. He came in yesterday and was finishing up the game in left field. Overall, Braun with 4 homers. He's driven in 11. 2 of those homers were monster. The one in San Diego and the walk-off against the Cardinals. Anderson loads up with a payoff, and that was strike 3. Gets Ryan Braun on a changeup for out number 1.
Yeah, good pitch. You see the movement on that as it got to home plate. Pulled the string at 83. And you see the rotation. Look at the movement, and Ryan over the top of it. Well, Richards able to come all the way back. He was down in the count 2-0. Able to get Braun.
Kane led off with a single. Yelich walked. Now with 1 out, young Trevor Richards will face Travis Shaw. Shaw barely had to take the bat off his shoulders last night. He walked 3 times. 1 hit, scored a run. Everybody was getting in the act last night. 1-0. Much like Yolis Chassin, Richards is needing to work awfully hard here in the first inning. Made his first opening day roster this season. 2-0. Tried to jump on it, did Travis. Fouled it back.
Yeah, last year in the minor leagues, 2 levels of the minor leagues, 158 strikeouts for him. That led the Marlins organization second in wins, earned run average at 253. So pretty good work down in the minors.
It was A and Double A. And had him jump from there to the big club. 2-1 the count to Shaw. Couple of home runs so far for Travis to go with 7 RBIs. Kane once again getting things started for this offense. Yelich as well. We mentioned it last night. Lorenzo tends to get the uniform dirty, and he's wasting no time tonight.
Yeah, first inning normally.
2-2 pitch. This with the change, and now a full count to Shaw. Signed with the Marlins back in July of 2016 with Trevor Richards. Payoff pitch. Back here tomorrow night, then Sunday afternoon, and the Brewers head out for a 9-game road swing. Trying to make some hay here at Miller Park this week. 3 out of 4 so far. Shaw extending the at bat.
We have both of these pitchers, as you mentioned, big pitch counts in the first. And normally that's when it takes the most out of a pitcher before he's able to settle in, get into a groove, get that comfort level. Takes its toll, this many pitches in the first inning.
One more time, the 3-2. And the bases are loaded. Another walk drawn by Travis Shaw. Second walk of the inning given up by Trevor Richards. And here comes Eric Thames back in the lineup tonight. He was big in the Red Series. Home runs on Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. The difference in both games. Powerball home run count, 7 of them for Eric Thames. He continues to embrace the month of April. No one has hit more home runs in the last couple of years in April than Eric Thames. Not even Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper.
And there's still plenty of the month of April left.
Yes, there is. It's April 20th here tonight. So he had the big month last year, and he is chasing those numbers in April of 2018. Bases are loaded for him in the first inning. 1 strike pitch. Of late, the hits have been homers for Thames. He did single last night in a pinch hit appearance.
It seems like Richards has been behind every hitter so far this inning.
He is in a tough spot right now. Here's the 2-1. Out in front of the change, 2-2.
That's a money pitch, isn't it? Good movement on it. Reminds you a little bit of the Chase Anderson changeup, the way it moves. Even up in the zone, he put it on the corner.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Stays alive. This thing is reaching out for that. Take that OPS any day of the week.
Right.
Kane singled. Yelich and Shaw drew walks. And yet another full count. Nowhere to put the big man. Bases are loaded. Payoff. Carry out of play.
Man, what was the fastball there? I would have thought it'd been a changeup. That's been a money pitch for him when he's been behind in the count.
See if he goes that way now.
Yeah, 3-2, 1 out.
.30 pitches split right down the middle for Trevor Richards. Facing the Brewers' best power hitter. Again, the 3-2. Went with the changeup. Eric got a piece. As the makings of maybe not a very long night here, just the pitch count alone for Richards. He's battling, trying to get out of this jam, and it's a big one in the first inning. He's just walked in a run. That's his third walk of the inning, and the Brewers take a 1-0 lead.
And 1-0, 1 out. Bases still loaded. The Brewers haven't hit a ball out of the infield. Hey, Richards had come into the game his first 3 starts, walking only 5. And 3 of those came in 1 start. A little out of character for this guy.
Yeah, already a Mount Conference. Right, your old buddy Juan Nieves out there.
Had a chat with Juan before the game. Doing well. Boy, highly respected pitching coach amongst major league teams these days.
He has his work cut out for him as this organization pushing some of these young pitchers into the big leagues. Watched his starter tonight walk 3 in inning number 1. A run is across, and here is Jonathan Villar. Runners on. Villar has really thrived so far this season.
They're very good in each spot, men in scoring position.
6 for 13, as a matter of fact. 1-0 to Villar. Shoots this one foul down the line. It's the side of the plate where Villar has thrived, hitting .304 against right-handed pitchers. Sends another one foul.
Back of your mind, you got to be thinking changeup off this guy. That's why Richards has been able to, get the fastball in on the hands of Villar here. You're not selling out for the changeup, but you always have it in the back of your mind. You're thinking he might get it.
All 3 of those runners have reached via the walk. Here's the 1-2 to Villar. That's strikeout number 2 for Richards here in the first inning.
That was all fastballs. Went 3 fastballs to get him. That one up in the zone, and Villar underneath it.
Richards with 3 walks and an infield single. Bases remain loaded for Orlando Arcia. Second home run coming last night, followed Braun's blast. Curve missing for Richards here. His last outing was by far his best, Trevor Richards. He is in a battle early on tonight. See the low average for Arcia, but clearly big moments for him. 3 game-winning RBIs. Including a bases-loaded walk in St. Louis last week. Richards with that pitch count pushing 40 in inning number 1. Ready for the 1-1 pitch. Into center field, and it's going to hang up in the air long enough. Lewis Brinson will put it away, and that's it for the Brewers. They push across a run, 1-0 after the first. I asked a lot about Davey Nelson here early this season. We're all thinking about Davey as he is working through a health concern right now. One thing we do know, though, is that Davey's watching. He loves the Milwaukee Brewers. And the other thing we know, the Brewers and all of us at Fox Sports Wisconsin, we love Davey. Nobody, I mean nobody that I know has more friends, knows more people than Davey Nelson. So Davey, keep punching, man. We're thinking of you. We love you.
We miss you.
We miss you here at the ballpark.
Most importantly, yeah, it's not the same without Davey around the batting cage, and always willing to help others in any way. I was over there to see Davey today, and he's a battler. He's doing the best he can with this, and we wish the best for you, buddy. Hang in there. I know he's watching. He's watching every game. We talked about the team. This is about the whole time I was over there today.
Of course. Did you expect anything else?
No.
No. Davey's one of those guys you have to stand in line to say hi to, but you will stand in line because you want to say hi to him. He knows everybody.
And you'll get a big hug.
Yeah.
Davey's a hugger. Hang in there, partner.
Yes, sir. Inning number 2 at Miller Park. Brian Anderson leading things off, the third baseman. Good young player in this Miami organization. But a pretty good on-base guy. Good at drawing walks. On-base percentage is .367. It's notable because this Marlins team, for all the power it had last year, it has very little of it this year. Now, we talked about that last night. Lewis Brinson homered twice. But when you lose Stanton and Ozuna and Yelich, you have to try to manufacture runs, and that's what Anderson's trying to do here as he draws a walk.
The one thing we talked about with Chassin is get some quick innings, keep that pitch count down. He's already at 33, and he's allowed the leadoff hitter to reach in each of the first 2 innings.
Yeah, here's Lewis Brinson. Mattingly has moved him up a notch in the batting order. Hit 8th for the first time yesterday, and it went well for him. He was the offense for Miami. Breaking pitch. He's popped up. Eric Thames will run out of room.
Oh,
shit. Into the camera well it goes. Heads up, Sophia. There's last night. Lewis Brinson doing a little work against Chase Anderson, and no doubter there in the same area of the ballpark. His next at bat.
Yeah, in that big Christian Yelich deal, the main piece to that puzzle for the Miami Marlins. You can see he was 1 for 36 going into that at bat. He had a couple of days off in Chicago, and he worked on his stroke, and it certainly worked big time yesterday. First 2 at bat, big home runs to center field.
Been up and down that batting order. They've tried him at the top. Mentioned last night in the 8th spot. You have to remember, his big league career is just starting. 17 games with the Brewers last year, a couple of home runs. They were both in the series against the Nationals. 2-strike pitch. Has a real impressive look about him. A lot of presence to him.
It might take a while, but he's going to have a decent big league career. Got to settle in, understand himself as a hitter, make some adjustments. That's an oft-used word, making adjustments. That's what it's all about, being in the major leagues. Ryan Braun's been able to figure it out.
And there's strikeout number 2. We'll make it 3 now for Ulysses Chassin as he gets Brinson for out number 1.
There's that 2-seam fastball with a big movement, and Brinson missed that one by about 2 or 3 inches. Not even close to that one. Look at the movement going down as it gets to the hitting zone. Good pitch. When you have movement like that, you don't need to be on the corners.
Right.
I mean, you can get a lot of the plate when you have movement like that, when it starts about, mid-thigh or a little above the knees and it sinks out of the strike zone. And again, I don't think it's so much that Chassin tries to hit the corners. It's just the way it ends up with the big movement that he has on a lot of those fastballs, and the slider for that matter.
A very good year with the Padres last year. One of those guys that as the season moves along, he seems like he picks up his game. A lot made of the home road splits, but there's a lot of ways you can look at it. The effectiveness of the pitcher.
Yeah, who you facing, right? Who you facing on the road, who you facing at home. Has a lot to do with the splits.
And 1 the count to J.B. Shuck. Came in last night during the ball game. Just had the 1 at bat. One pitch. Little tapper. Here's Travis Shaw, and that is out number 2.
Another good pitch by Chassin. 2-seamer going away, and Shuck got it on the end of the bat. And pretty good pitch down in the strike zone.
Shuck busting it there up the line, but Shaw's throw in plenty of time. 2 men out for the pitcher, Trevor Richards. And a bouncer to VR. And that will do it for the Miami Marlins in the 2nd inning. Lead off walk, but no damage done. Bottom of the 2nd, 1-0 Milwaukee.
I got a job up here. My girlfriend was up in Milwaukee, so I decided to move up here for the 5-6 months of the off season, and landed a job working in the guest relations at Miller. And we were able to go back yesterday and got a pretty cool tour. Got to see people I worked with, so we had a lot of fun. I mean, it's good to be back here and good to see. I mean, we drove by the apartment. We know where we're at. We know downtown area. We live down there, and it's just cool to come back and see it from a different perspective.
So after tonight, we'll have some rooting interest in Trevor Richards.
Right, there's your
cool.
hard hat tour, Matty.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Yeah,
huh?
Good story. You know, he's from Illinois, so it's not like he was down in Florida or anywhere. He's used to working out, getting ready for the season in cold weather. So good story. Miller Course to Miller Park.
Independent ball. Scouts discovered him, and he was pitching for the Gateway Grizzlies in the Frontier League. There he signed a contract with the Miami Marlins. And with some injuries and of course what they're doing with the organization, the opportunity was there. And for a guy who last year split his time between A-ball and Double-A, here he is. Career start number 4. Jet Bandy leads off. And he continues to get the bulk of the work behind the plate. Manny Pena on the disabled list with the calf injury.
And he's coming along nicely. Stephen Vogt coming along. And good news on all the injury fronts. We're hoping to have David Stearns next inning. Maybe you can give us an update on a lot of those guys.
Talk about it with Vogt, that veteran presence, the bat that he brings. And yet here this week we have watched Jacob Nottingham make his big league debut and show all the appearances at least behind the plate, but he has the goods.
Yeah, did a nice job. Caught a shutout his first ever big league start.
Check that box. 2 strikes and nothing to Jet Bandy. Bandy, Chacin, and Kane for Milwaukee here in the bottom of the second. It was had the makings of a big inning in the first. They got to run across, but with the bases loaded, Richards was able to rally, got a strikeout of VR and a fly ball from Orlando Arcia. He walked 3. There was just 1 hit, the infield single from Kane. And on the hands, a bouncer to Brian Anderson, and that's out number 1. Well, ask and you shall receive, Rock. Talking about injuries and things are getting a little bit better, more encouraging. Let's get more on that as we check in with Sophia Miners.
Things definitely more encouraging for Manny Pena. He's on the disabled list with that right calf strain, but he was able to run the bases today and put himself through a pretty good test. And Craig Counsell said he ran about 80 to 85%. So he will do that again. He said one more kind of serious test out on the field, but it was a good sign for him to see how he ran today. And Craig Counsell said he thinks he'll be on track for the road trip. They'll see how it goes. The earliest he could be activated is Tuesday. Counsell wasn't ready to commit to that quite yet, but said it looks good for him to return on the road trip.
All right, thank you very much. Is this ball club, Craig Counsell, mixing and matching the lineup and not always on his terms. In fact, very often not on his terms because of the injuries.
Right. Well, and every team is dealing with them. There's a lot of big time names that have been on the disabled list around baseball this year already.
I was reading earlier today the road trip for the Brewers next week. It starts in Kansas City. Salvador Perez might be back sooner than expected. Remember, he hurt his knee carrying luggage and slipped on the stairs, and they were looking at 4 to 6 weeks, but reading earlier today, it may be next week when he comes back. One of the premier catchers in all of baseball, 4-time Gold Glove winner.
That can hit, clutch hitter. Kansas City off to a slow start this year.
Really struggling. They're playing a doubleheader today. Chacin, a wave and a miss. 2 up, 2 down here in the second inning.
Yeah, the Royals only 3-13 to start the season.
And they lost the front end of the doubleheader with the Royals, or the Tigers, I should say. Tigers beat the Royals 3-2. Speaking of the Royals, Lorenzo Cain, think he might have a few interview requests coming his way on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they are loving him here in Milwaukee. The welcome back to Lorenzo Cain when he signed the free agent contract at the end of January. He has the 1 hit. He has scored the 1 run early on tonight. An eventful inning in the first for Richards, looking for a clean one in the second. Cain has been a tough out, to say the least. Reached 4 times last night, 3 hits and a walk. Hitters count now to Lorenzo.
Yeah, Richards having a difficult time locating his fastball. He's got better command of the changeup so far.
That is a good pitch for him. Comes the 3-1. Still having trouble with that fastball command. That is walk number 4 allowed by Richards. The Brewers were able to take advantage of some wildness last night from the Marlins. Let's see what Christian Yelich can do. Former Miami Marlin. Brewers sending 4 prospects to the Marlins organization, including Lewis Brinson, the top prospect. And with the moves the Marlins made last year, they had the most powerful outfield offense in the game, and it is the least powerful this season, or maybe next to least, because of Brinson's home runs last night. But it's a dramatic difference.
Yeah, 115 last year out of the Miami outfield. Before last night, there was 1 home run from an outfielder. That's a big deal. You expect big offense, big power out of your outfield positions, particularly the corners. They got that with Ozuna and Stanton last year.
Yes, they did. Richards starting to labor again. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, it'll certainly be an interesting career to track with Brinson. Got certainly a flash of it last year with the Brewers. Richards with the 2-1, and that changeup has Yelich in front.
Yeah. Yeah, when in doubt, throw the changeup. That's what Richards has been doing tonight. There it is. Very consistent, pulling the string, and Yelich out in front of it.
Inning number 2 and pitch number 60 coming up from Trevor Richards. Cain reached on a walk. And this one slips through, or it hit Yelich actually. And he'll take his base. So 4 walks and a hit batsman. But it's still just 1-0.
Yeah, curveball this time, and gets Yelich right on the toe. That's not going to hurt too bad. Right on the back toe.
So once again, an opportunity here for Ryan Braun. Richards was able to strike him out with 2 runners on in the first. And the changeup. hits it very high into center field. Lots of room for Lewis Brinson. And the Brewers strand a couple here in the second inning. We are through 2 at Miller Park. It's 1-0 Milwaukee.
Before tonight's game about his milestone career RBI number 1,000 last night, coming on a pinch hit 3-run home run in the 6th inning, part of a 7-run inning for the Crew as they put together 12 runs on the night last night. And he said, we've been desperately looking for an inning like that. He said, overall, I think we're all disappointed with our performance offensively. But he said an inning like that, a game like that, he said, it can really turn everything around. He said, and it can really click for an offense. And he said, that's the kind of game that we can build off of in terms of putting together sustained performance. He says that we know that we're all capable of doing. And he said, too, it takes a lot of pressure off of our bullpen. He said that has been our biggest strength up until this point in the season. So he said a game like that can really set you up for a few days, and he hopes that it has an impact here the rest of the weekend. Yeah, you're right, Sophia. And it was interesting last night, Rock, because we saw the home runs. That makes the highlights. But you pointed it out as the game was unfolding that a 2-run knock from Jesus Aguilar was huge.
Yeah, bases loaded, 2 outs, and Aguilar able to extend the inning and went from a 6-3 lead to a 12-3 lead, just like that, after that Aguilar base hit. But this is too good of an offense. Whichever way you want to shake it or spin it, these guys are going to score some runs, and it's just a matter of time before they broke out, and it was last night.
Dietrich a pop out. Rojas now the hitter. It was a Brewers offense that went into last night's game averaging about 3.5 runs a game, and they bumped it up now to closer to 4 with the 12-run outing, a season high in runs. But as Rock, you said it multiple times, we give you statistics every day in this game, but you start to lock in on them a little bit more in about 10 days or so when we get ready to flip the calendar from April to May. Count holds the ball, 2 strikes to the shortstop, Miguel Rojas. Both starters needing to work for it here in the early going tonight. Although it was a relatively smooth second inning for Chassin, gave up a leadoff walk to Brian Anderson and then took care of Brinson, Shuck, and Trevor Richards.
And still the pitch count up there, approaching 50 already.
He went 4 innings on Sunday at Citi Field. Gave up 5 hits and a run, but he needed 85 pitches to get through 4. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball's popped up. Eric Thames will handle this for out number 2.
Hey, the first Brewers bobblehead giveaway of the season is set for this Sunday. All fans at Miller Park for the Brewers matchup against the Marlins will take home a collectible Eric Thames bobblehead courtesy of Toyota. Secure your seats at brewers.com.
That's a good look right there. The jerseys match. Well, maybe he'll have an at-bat with a pose will look just like that bobblehead.
Yeah, we've got one up here.
Oh, yeah.
Even the bobblehead is intimidating.
That is.
He means business.
Handle with care.
He's got the elbow pad on it. Yeah. Good looking bobblehead.
Striking that pose. Very nice. Chassin ahead of Starlin Castro. No balls, 2 strikes. Castro walked in the first inning. Elise Chassin looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night, and he finds it right here with a strikeout of Castro. 2 pop-ups and a punch-out for Chassin in the 3rd. Big starts coming up in the bottom of inning number 3. Joined in the booth now by Brewers general manager David Stearns, who once again allows us to bug him for a half inning, hopefully a long inning if we can cover a lot of topics while your team's scoring a lot of runs here, David. We were talking a little bit before the game. It has to be nice, maybe a sigh of relief for you and everybody with the organization to actually see Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich hitting 1-2 in the order in consecutive games.
It's nice to get healthy a little bit, and that's been something that a lot of teams have battled early in the season. We've certainly had our share of injuries, had our share of guys go down with things and dents, and so we're beginning to get our full crew back on the field. We're seeing that tonight. It's fun to have. This is obviously what we had envisioned in the offseason, and it's good to have it on the field in a regular season game.
Can you tell us a little bit about Corey Knebel, how he's coming along, and then maybe give us an update on Jimmy Nelson? Yeah, so obviously 2 guys who have a little bit longer injuries who are big parts of our team. Corey, will start with him, and Corey, he's an incredibly hard worker. I think we were all really scared when we saw him go down on the mound. We weren't sure the length of the injury. It's really a 4 to 6 week no throw, and then there's probably a 2-week progression after that to get back into a major league game.
Hot shot foul off the bat of Travis Shaw. Go ahead, Dave.
And so he's progressing well along that timeline. It's probably going to be somewhere 4 to 5 weeks from the date of injury until he gets back on the mound, and then we've got 2 weeks to get him back. So it's still the same timeline that we had anticipated when the injury first happened, and He's doing all his work. He's very optimistic. I think he was relieved, as were we, that it turned out to be what it was.
Shaw with the liner that goes past the diving J.B. Shuck. And Travis Shaw will have a double to lead off the home half of the third.
And Jimmy Nelson, you know, Jimmy, we've said this all along. Jimmy wants to push this as fast as he possibly can. You guys know him really well. He's going to push it. You see him out there doing his throwing program every day. It's looking good. I know he's happy with where he is. Our training staff's doing a phenomenal job getting him ready. And so we're still looking at, look, it's mid-season. I don't know exactly where in mid-season, but that's where it is. And these are incremental steps that he has to take. He should feel good about each incremental step that he takes because this is a challenge. And he's getting there. And when he comes back, we're going to get a good pitcher back.
Probably your biggest challenge is to rein him back a little bit. He probably wants to accelerate even quicker, right?
With all these guys, that's the challenge. And that's a better challenge than trying to push guys faster. I like when guys want to get back on the field. And certainly with both Corey and Jimmy, those are two guys who are chomping at the bit to compete here.
Is there any way we can convince Eric Thames that the entire season is April against Cincinnati?
You guys should try. You guys, look, I think what's been fun watching this with Eric again this year is how comfortable he is. You know, he came back last year. He had that huge April. The entire eyes of Major League Baseball were on him. That's tough to handle, and I don't know whether it affected him, and I really don't. But he's now in a place where he's performing. He's not the main story around the entire league. He can come in, do his job. He does it well. And I would anticipate that we're seeing a player who can contribute consistently throughout the course of the year.
David, I want to go back to the bullpen here. Without a closer, that's such a huge hit for this club or any club. And yet, okay, maybe a bump here and there. But here this week, you have seen 6-out saves from Josh Hader, Jacob Barnes. It seems like they're finding a way to figure it out back there right now.
It's a really cohesive group down there. We've talked about that over the last couple of years. It's true again this year. They pick each other up. Craig, DJ, Lee Tunnell have done a tremendous job sequencing that group, putting those guys in position to succeed. And guys want to step up. There aren't egos down there, which is nice in a bullpen. Guys don't care when they pitch. Their motto is let's get the ball to the next guy, and they've done that exceptionally well throughout the entire year, and certainly since Corey's gone down.
Visiting with Brewers general manager David Stearns. The look down there, Lee Tunnell, Marcus Hanel keep things in line in the bullpen. We also had a shot of Jeremy Jeffress a moment ago, and he's off to a great start. What is it about Milwaukee that I mean, his numbers here are so dramatically better than when he's pitching in another organization? Just a great fit here.
It really has been a great fit, and JJ calls this home. I know he feels like it's home. He certainly acts like it's home. He's comfortable with his surroundings here. He's comfortable with the support network we have with our coaching staff, and ultimately it's his job to go out and perform, and he does that. And what he's done for this team this year has been a little bit untalked about and unheralded. He's really, Craig calls him the closer for our starters. He comes in. He's been a really good pitcher with guys on base. He gets us through those bridge innings. He takes pride in doing that, and he's done a great job.
He's a perfect example of a guy that throughout his career has had to make adjustments. That split change is an incredible pitch, and he came up with that recently, and it's been one of the big reasons why he's had so much success.
It's been a great pitch. It's helped neutralize opposite-handed hitters. It's certainly something that he didn't have as consistently when he was here the first time. He was just beginning to play with it when he was here. He worked on it some in Texas, and it's really taken off since he's come back.
Were you one of the many that breathed a bit of a sigh of relief yesterday when the Brewers put up 10 runs in 2 innings? You knew your offense was going to get going, but you were kind of sitting back and wondering, when is this going to happen? Well, it happened yesterday. It had to feel good.
It was nice to see. I think a collective deep breath, a collective recognition that we're going to score some runs. It's nice when it comes in bunches. It makes Craig's job a lot easier during the game on how to get those last 9 outs. And so it was fun to see, allowed everyone to exhale. Hopefully we can have a couple more games like that and allow our offense to really settle in.
A ball, 2 strikes to Jonathan Villar. He offers up, and back-to-back strikeouts now for Trevor Richards after a leadoff double off the bat of Travis Shaw. We're visiting with Brewers general manager David Stearns. Key words we hear a lot of here: organizational depth, and it's been tested maybe unexpectedly so because of the injuries. But earlier this week, able to save the bullpen to an extent on a tough night. Jorge Lopez comes in and gives you 3 innings. You got Corbin Burns in the minors doing good things. Are you happy in a big picture where the depth is in this organization right now?
I am. It's been a goal of ours. We talk about it every year. You need 50 players to put on a major league uniform to get through a season. We've had that the last couple of years. We're going to have it again this year. We've had pretty significant transaction volume over the first couple of weeks of the season here. And that's going to continue. And guys who have come up have done their jobs, whether it's Jorge Lopez, Taylor Williams. Guys have come out here and performed and help us win games. And we're going to need contributions from a whole lot of guys throughout the season.
There's Arcia with a fly ball back into left field. There will be room for Derek Dietrich at the edge of the track, and that'll do it for the Brewers in the 3rd. Well, Dave, thanks a lot for joining us, and you guys are navigating through it. 11-9 with all the injuries. That's not all bad.
Appreciate it, guys. Happy to do it.
All right, David Stearns, Brewers general manager, joining us here in the booth. 1-0 Brewers after 3.
Time now for our UW Whitewater Scouting Report. A dominating performance for minor league pitcher of the year, Corbin Burns. He threw 6 1/3 scoreless innings on just 3 hits, 1 walk, and struck out 9. In AAA for the Colorado Springs Sky Sox, earned the win, and now on the season is 1-0 with a 2.08 earned run average. So Burns just picking up right where he left off after a great year last year.
All right, good timing for that. Sophia talking about organizational depth with David Stearns, Brewers general manager. We thank him as always for joining us. Unfortunately, a fairly short inning. Brewers had a little something going, we thought, but turned back.
It seems like David pretty satisfied with where everybody is right now as far as injuries go. It is kind of interesting in that with Jimmy Nelson and Corey Knebel, the biggest challenge that everybody has is keeping these guys from doing too much too early.
Exactly. A fly ball off the bat of Justin Bohr. Yelich will squeeze it for out number 1. And as David mentioned, and I know Rock, you talked about a lot too, it's you'd rather dial someone down than light a fire under them. Right. It's you've known Jimmy Nelson for a long time. That's dialing him back is the challenge.
Yeah,
right?
no kid. I mean, he wants to be out there. He feels as though he could probably be out there in a couple of weeks. But the training staff, Dan Wright and his athletic training staff are always one of the biggest things that they have to do on a daily basis is to keep Jimmy from doing too much. And you keep doing. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. I mean, they're smart. I mean, they've been at it a long time. They've seen these injuries and they know the process. And they have to protect players from themselves.
JT Real Muto shoots one into right field. That's the second hit of the night for the Miami Marlins. Well, you can try to put yourself in Jimmy Nelson's shoes. You figure, you know, last year, what a year he was having, what a year he had. It just ended earlier than anybody would have wanted with the injury at Wrigley Field. But man, he was really dialed in, was establishing himself as a top of the rotation guy, and then to have it all in so quickly.
That'd be a nice pickup around All-Star break, won't it?
Yes, it would. It's like, yeah, like an acquisition, really. Get him in there if that's how it's going to turn out. Brian Anderson at the plate now for the Marlins. Third baseman walked in the second inning.
And snapped a string of 7 straight for Chacin.
Yeah, you at least had to grind it through the first inning. Stranding a couple of runners, walked Brian Anderson to start the second, and then he was on a little bit of a roll. 1 out, 1 on here in the fourth. We talked about it. I mean, everybody, if you have 11 wins, you want 12. If you have 15, you want 16. But you know, the Brewers are holding their own here in the month of April. You said it a lot, Rock. You're not going to win a trophy in April, but you can bury yourself.
Yeah, you can lose one.
And you have some ball clubs right now that are reeling. Now, in the case of the Reds, sitting there at 3-15, they were not thought to be a contender. Miami, the same. But you know, the Royals, we'll see those guys next week. Now, they're sitting 3-14 now, and they were around a 500 club, and they're 3 years removed from a World Series title. That's tough.
Yeah, and during spring training, right before spring training, they picked up some pretty good players and thought that they might have a chance to do something this year. It has not happened.
Lost the front end of a doubleheader against the Tigers, and they're tied at 2 in the 9th inning of game 2. The ball, 2 strikes to Anderson. And on the hands, fouls it off. Well, it's the part of the schedule that you really would love to see the Brewers take some advantage of here, and they have started this homestand with 3 wins in their first 4. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you never look at a series and say we should win 3 out of 4 here. I mean, you got to play good baseball. Any team in any given day can beat you. You run into a hot pitcher, it doesn't matter what a team's record is. I mean, you can lose, and you just got to play solid baseball, and you got to advance base runners. The Brewers had a leadoff double last inning, and we're not able to move him at all. And those are the things you have to do against teams that you expect to beat.
Yeah, a little dangerous here through the first 3 innings. The Brewers have stranded 6 runners. 2-2 pitch with Real Muto running, and that's chopped foul. What to your point, I just mentioned what the Reds record is, but Luis Castillo looked like a pretty tough customer out there on the mound on Monday night. He was dealing.
That's where your momentum is, right? The starting pitcher that night.
There's a reason why that line exists. Momentum as good as your next day's starter. Count holds, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The thing is, you play teams that have really get off to a slow start. You bury them early, and they're going to have their head down. The longer you allow them to stick around, you never know what can happen.
This is popped up. Eric Thames in foul territory for out number 2.
Especially when you have a bunch of rookie starting pitchers. Just trying to establish themselves, get their feet wet. They want that comfort level. The Brewers, let Richards off the hook the first couple innings.
Goes back to the council line. They're getting traffic, and last night they brought him around, but tonight that traffic is getting stuck. Don Mattingly getting a young pitcher out there who's fighting through it. surrendering just a run through the first 3 innings. Here's Lewis Brinson. He struck out of the 2nd inning. And that was close.
Well, he was leaning. Remuto, not a base stealer. He will run if you don't keep an eye on him. Okay, he's leaning towards second base right there. A little bit lower of a throw. He might be out.
Brewers making sure that was not worth the challenge. Chassin ready with a 1-0 pitch. Brinson going through the ups and downs of being a regular in the big leagues for the first time. He has 10 hits this season. 4 of them came on March 30th against the Cubs. 2 more last night. Few and far between from the end of March and last evening. Two balls, 1 strike. We mentioned it last night, when you get words of encouragement and some advice from the likes of Derek Jeter and the manager Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball, probably want to take note.
Buck stops with them, doesn't it? Yeah.
Two guys who could hit a little bit.
And they've given Brinson every opportunity to get going. He did last night. Now, you don't trade away a guy like Yelich to get a player and then give up on him in the first 2 weeks of the season.
2-1 pitch. Brinson with a pop up. Carry out a play again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A former Marlin. Watch Brinson hit 2 homers. It's good that you could chuckle about it, though, because your team won by 9. Chassin giving up a 1-out single to Real Muto. Got Brian Anderson on a pop-up, and he'll get Brinson here on a strikeout, and that'll end the inning. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We're going to see Lorenzo Cain having a pretty good series for himself. He's reached twice already. He'll hit 3rd as the Brewers come to bat in the bottom of the 4th, leading 1-0. You're looking for the Bucks and the Celtics playoff game 3. You can find that on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. All channel listings are available on foxsportswisconsin.com. Reminder, both the Brewers and Bucks games are available on the Fox Sports Go app. Ready to tip that off at the BMO Harris Bradley Center. Bucks and the Celtics on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. Game 3, time for the Bucks to get on the board. Celtics protecting the home court with the first 2.
Got to win tonight.
Got to get it done. Can't fall behind 3-0.
No.
That'd be bad.
Even I know that.
That is our extensive NBA knowledge right there. Here's Jet Bandy. Bandy, Chassin, and Kane. I'm thinking they get one tonight. They could start to make that a little interesting. Took the first game into overtime. A good night of sports in the city of Milwaukee and fans all across the state. Bandy grounded to third in the second inning. Just a couple of hits for the Brewers, but they've had no shortage of base runners. Trevor Richards has walked 4. He has hit a batter. Almost hit another. Missing inside.
Bandy's had a bullseye on his body so far this year, hasn't he?
He's got 3 of them, right?
3 hit batters already.
Richards with a 1-2. Bandy with a home run to his credit. That was last weekend in New York. This will carry out a play. Jet with that strong throwing arm behind the plate. Good work defensively. Had a good start to last season. He and Pena
starting to swing the bat much better.
As he demonstrates, nearly so there as a foul ball down the left field line.
And that ball way off the inside corner. He can get to that pitch. Had it down on the handle just a little bit and hooked it foul, but still able to get enough of it. Check out where this pitch is. Pretty close to hitting him, and he's still able to get enough of it to line it down the left field line.
Matchup continues. A ball, 2 strikes. Sends one to Brian Anderson, the third baseman. There's out number 1. We have not made any BA references yet tonight. Are we saving that for later? Or?
Yeah, I think we did enough of that yesterday.
They won't wear it out.
Where is our BA tonight?
I'm not sure what series he has moved to. I know he had the first couple games with the Buccos. There's Yulise Chassin with a fly ball to right. J.B. Shuck for out number 2. I have been told, an unnamed source, that he is in Miami.
Ah,
there he is. Like the photo there, prominently displayed here in our booth. Where's Rocks?
Where's the cardboard cutout that I taped up to the wall?
That's what we need to see. I honor that every night as I come in here.
Yeah.
Because he requested that.
Don't forget me.
Old song from the 80s. Don't you forget about me. Lorenzo Cain. BA will be back middle of May once his NBA duties wrap up. back for the Brewers series against the Twins at Target Field. He will be here more often than not. Lorenzo Cain, an infield single and a walk. Marlins have had a world of trouble getting this guy out. Here's the 1-1.
That's why right there he's not chasing that changeup. I mean, as good as the changeup is for Richards, it's very rarely in the strike zone. Starts out as a strike and then dives as it gets to home plate. Goes from strike to ball quickly. If you can identify that pitch out of his hand, which is no easy task, and let it go, most of the time it's going to be out of the strike zone.
Lead in the count. That was 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a breaking ball there.
Well, Richards punching through here tonight. The makings of a short night. The pitch count's way up there, as you see, but still just a 1-run game. He's had a lot of full counts and add another one. The 3-2. Cain works his second walk of the night.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, a lot of those pitches pretty close, and Richards is going to get a lot of swings and misses on pitches just like that, but Cain very patient at the plate, all about that on-base percentage.
And now Christian Yelich, he too has reached both times to the plate. Walked and hit by a pitch. Cain bluffs as though he will run, and Yelich sends one out to right field and deep, and that is off the wall. Cain is on the move. He's coming around. Yelich on his way to third. And that is a run-scoring triple, and the Brewers lead 2-0.
There you go, 2 outs, nobody on. Cain Yelich able to produce a run, walk, triple. Let's check it out. Changeup. They left this one up out over the plate, and look at that swing, nice and level through the strike zone, and this ball caroms off the wall. Shuck got too close. Cain scores. Yelich to third. Brewers up 2-0.
Oh, that top of the order for the Milwaukee Brewers. They have done nothing but reach base so far tonight. Now Ryan Braun steps in. Chance for RBI number 1001. Or maybe 1002 as he hammers one deep to left field. Goodbye. 2-run blast. Ryan Braun, and it's a 4-0 game.
They've been putting some big innings together. Breaking pitch down the middle. Ryan Braun just missed a home run his last time up. Got under it. Did not miss this one. Second deck and left on a slider. First pitch down the middle of the plate. He's got the home run stroke going this year.
Second in as many nights, his 5th of the season. Now Travis Shaw, and he sends one deep into center field, and it is back to back again. They did it last night. They do it tonight. 5-0 Milwaukee. All of this coming with 2 outs here in the 4th.
You give Travis Shaw a pitch down in the strike zone, you better watch out. A deadly low ball hitter is Travis Shaw. It's good to have those four guys in the lineup at the same time again, isn't it?
Makes a little difference. As Eric Thames gets set to settle in, Juan Nieves will try to calm his young pitcher.
How about 3 pitches and 3 runs for the Brewers?
And this was after Richards retired Jet Bandy and Yolis Chassin. A walk to Kane, a triple from Yelich, back-to-back bombs from Braun and Travis Shaw.
First pitch triple, first pitch homer for Braun, first pitch homer for Shaw. All right, 3 pitches, and that is not where you want to leave a fastball to Travis Shaw. Down and in like that. He's going to get a good swing on that pitch every single time.
Thames walked in a run in the first inning, struck out in the third. Seven homers so far this year for Thames. Four runs in the inning, all with 2 men out. Richards with a 2-1. Caught the corner.
It was actually 3 pitches, 4 runs, right?
Yes. Yelich RBI triple, and then the 2-run shot and the solo blast. Back to the full count mode. Richards really piling those up. And now the 3-2. Home run power again on display for the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Thames draws another walk.
6th issued by Richards. End's got to be near for Richards tonight.
Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames with the 7 home runs. Ryan Braun number 5 tonight. Travis Shaw number 3. Arcia and Kane round out the Powerball home run leaderboard. And the night will come to an end for Trevor Richards. Don Mattingly going to his bullpen. We're in the 4th inning. Brewers have scored 4 in this frame. They lead the Marlins 5-0. 4 across so far. 5-0 lead over the Marlins in the 4th. Want to let you know, if you're looking for the Bucks and Celtics playoff game 3, you can find that on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. All the channel listings are available on foxsportswisconsin.com. And a reminder, both the Brewers and Bucks games are available on the Fox Sports Go app. Again, Bucks and Celtics playoff game 3. You can catch that right now on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. Changes here for the Marlins. Double switch for Don Mattingly. Cameron Maben now in center field for Lewis Brinson. He'll hit 9th in the order, will Maben. And on the mound for the Marlins is Tyron Guerrero.
Yeah, the Marlins picked this guy up from San Diego last July. Big time strikeout pitcher, 17 punch outs in 9 2/3 innings to go along with 5 walks. You see the earned run average. Got the strikeouts, but he's still giving up runs.
He is a tall individual, 6'8". This team at 210. He's facing Jonathan Villar. Thames the runner at first. Villar the 8th man to hit here in the 4th inning. Brings it in there at 99.
99 miles an hour. Left-handers have had their way with him. 368 batting average against this guy. Right-handers only 238.
Switch hitting VR with a 1-1 count. Brewers doing the damage after the first 2 were retired in this inning. There's 3 2/3 innings of work for Trevor Richards. Thames is running. Pitch is high, and Thames is safe at second. Stolen base for Eric Thames.
And not paying attention to him. Guerrero more concerned about throwing strikes. And Thames got a great jump and able to beat it. I guess if they hold on to the baseball there, he's out. Rojas not able to do that.
Three and 1 to Jonathan Villar. And he walks. And Richards walks 6 in 3 2/3, and Guerrero walks the first hitter he faces. Helpless feeling right now for Don Mattingly.
Yeah, right. You can't do anything, you know, defensively. There's no strategy to defend against walks. This guy can't be easy to catch. I mean, he's all over the place. He throws, 99 miles an hour. Ball darting all over the place.
Faces Orlando Arcia. A couple of fly balls from Arcia tonight. Takes a big cut there. And after the first pitch, which he will do. Back-to-back home runs in this inning for Milwaukee. Arcia part of one last night. Followed Braun's homer with one of his own. Guerrero with a 1-strike pitch. Arcia offered. It's 2 strikes and nothing. He's driven in 7 on the season, has Orlando Arcia. Ninth man to hit. Thames at second. Villar at first. Both reached via the walk. Here's the 0-2. Skips away from Real Muto. And the throw goes into center field. Thames will come around to score. Villar to third. And right now, the Marlins are having trouble getting out of their own way.
Yeah, there's no reason why you would throw that baseball. Realmuto normally makes pretty good decisions, but there's no chance of getting VR at second. Air mails it into center field. A gift run for Milwaukee. Hey, what's the term? You don't turn a bogey into a double bogey, right?
They just did.
Give up the bases, but you throw it away and give up a run.
A ball, 2 strikes to Orlando Arcia. And he went around. That is out number 3. The first 2 were retired, and then it turned into a big inning for the Milwaukee Brewers. Run-scoring triple from Christian Yelich. Ryan Braun with his second homer in as many nights. A 2-run blast, and Travis Shaw followed Braun as the Brewers again go back-to-back. Of NASCAR as they chase Kyle Busch in a seasoned field of veterans. The Toyota Owners 400 tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Fox. We're streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And the Brewers put 5 on the board in the 4th inning, all with 2 men out. And Elise Chassin has some space right now as he works against J.B. Shuck in inning number 5.
Yeah, Brewers dropping some big innings on the Marlins first 2 games.
Yeah, 7-run 6th inning last night.
We've had a 3-run inning, a 7-run inning, and now a 5-run inning.
Offense busting loose. It's amazing what happens when you start to get healthier. And that top half of the batting order looks the way it looks again tonight.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Two balls, 2 strikes to the Miami right fielder. He was in the Twins organization last year. J.B. Shuck spent the year in AAA. Biggest year in the big leagues. Probably go back to 5 years ago when he was with the Angels. Drove in 39 runs. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Shuck's return to the big leagues was a good one last Friday against the Pirates. Had 4 hits, scored a couple of runs. And he shoots one up the middle. Nice stop, VR. The throw not in time.
Shuck can run a little bit, can he?
Yes, he can.
Boy, he got down the line quickly. That was a nice play by VR. Smothered it. Got off a very good throw. Really wasn't close at first. And look at that guy you would think can run like that. He's busting it down the line. Not even close. Beats it easily. It's a nice play by VR on the backhand.
Lead-off infield single for J.B. Shuck. Cameron Maben at the plate. Part of the double switch. The bottom of the 4th inning. Maben hitting in the 9 spot. In there in center field for Lewis Brinson. There's a breaking ball from Chassin.
And that slider looking more like a curveball has been a good pitch for him tonight. Big break, 78 miles an hour.
They'll feed it to him again, and that's hit on the nose to center field, but right to Lorenzo Cain. 1 out.
Kind of one of those roundhouse curveballs that you used to see. Not a whole lot of downward movement on it, not a lot of depth to it, but a big break going right to left.
Here's Derek Dietrich. Single to center to open the game. Popped up to Arcia in the 3rd. Hit sharply. VR able to knock it down, and the throw to first is in time.
Very nice.
Wow.
Good recovery. Had a couple of really tough plays in this inning.
Mattingly wants to make sure. Well, good job by VR, just hanging in there.
Yeah, check it out. This time on the forehand and able to knock it down, keep it close. Dietrich runs pretty well, but they're able to get him. Barely.
No challenge. Shuck now at second. Miguel Rojas at the plate. And he pops one up. VR will call for it. And Yolis Chassin has kept the Marlins off the board through the first 5 innings. 6-0 Brewers. Cain will hit 3rd. Reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Pepsi, this is the Pepsi for your crew. And Bernie getting the workout in the 4th inning. Ryan Braun, Travis Shaw go back-to-back, part of a 5-run inning. A 6-0 lead for the Brew Crew. Jet Bandy will lead off 8-9-1. Bandy, Chassin, and Lorenzo Cain. Tyron Guerrero still out there for the Marlins. Bandy with a couple of ground balls to third. John Mattingly forced to go to his bullpen after Trevor Richards lasted just 3 2/3. Retired Bandy and Chassin to begin the 4th inning, and then the trouble hit in a big way.
Yeah, 3 2/3 tonight, 4 2/3 last night. So putting a lot of pressure first 2 games of the series on that Marlins bullpen.
Guerrero ready with a 2-1 pitch. Marlins had to make a roster move. One of their relievers last night, Odrisamer Despaigne, who had to leave last night's game. The right forearm strain now has him on the 10-day DL. So Nick Whitgren was called up from AAA New Orleans. So the mixing and matching continuing from Mattingly.
Still can't find a lefty down in that bullpen. All right-handers.
Two to Bandy.
8 relievers in the pen for Miami. No lefties.
Brewers with 2, of course. Dan Jennings.
Makes it a lot easier for Kirk Counsell to navigate through the game. Pinch hitters. You don't have to worry about the lefty-lefty matchups late in the game.
2-2 again. Counsell has Jennings and Hader to turn to when he needs lefties out of his bullpen. The Brewers bullpen, by the way, last night did not allow so much as a hit. Six runs on 5 hits for the Brewers. A lot of walks surrendered by Miami pitching. Bandy is strikeout victim at 100 miles an hour. This guy can bring it.
That tall, slender right-hander just slings it in there. Hey, with group packages starting at just $6 per ticket, you can craft the perfect day at Miller Park, complete with seating blocks, all-inclusive areas, party suites, and more. Learn more at brewers.com/groups.
Good Friday crowd here at the ballpark. Calling out, join us this weekend. Brewers wrapping up the homestand. This 4-game series with Miami.
Yep, snow's melting.
It is. Sun's been shining. Feels warm out there. 45 degrees, feels like 70.
Yeah, it was nice out there today. Get out in the yard today. Actually fired up the grill for the first time. Just make sure it works.
Everything good?
Good. Real good.
You're going to give it a workout on Sunday now, aren't you?
Yeah, you know it. Yeah.
Do the same thing. It's time.
We're going to force it to be the time.
Yes, yes, sir. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tyron Guerrero here in inning number 5. Yeah, he'll try to do what Marlins pitchers have been unable to do, and that's get Lorenzo Cain out.
Brewers in the 4th got the first 2 out, and it was 2 outs, nobody on. They ended up batting around.
Started with the Cain walk. He's had a couple of them. He's drawn 12 walks so far now to lead the team. He's got to love what he's doing at the top of the batting order. So at the start of the game, his on-base percentage as the leadoff man is .350. Some 40 points higher than the collective average of Milwaukee leadoff hitters. This is the 14th game he's been at the top of the order. Tyron Guerrero loads up for the 1-1. Story on Guerrero, he played a lot of soccer growing up. Really didn't start playing baseball much at all until he was 16.
Until he realized he could throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Then, instead of kicking it, maybe I'll throw it.
Yeah. I don't think he can kick it 100 miles an hour.
Lorenzo Cain goes down swinging, and Tyron Guerrero strikes out the side. We're through 5. Brewers lead 6-0.
Foundation is hosting its first of 4 Drive for Charity events at Miller Park this season. The foundation asks that fans attending games tomorrow and Sunday, if you could bring full-size toiletries to the ballpark for a donation, and in exchange, fans will receive a commemorative pin.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. We move on to inning number 6. Release Chassin pressing on here for Milwaukee. Giving up 3 hits. Marlins have stranded 5. Starlin Castro, a little check swing roller. Arcia and Thames holds the bag for out number 1. Nice play.
I didn't think so, but first base umpire Alfonso Marquez thought he had his foot on the bag. Obviously, the Marlins are going to take a look at that. Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah. Good work.
Good footwork by Thames. Look at the way he has the foot on the outfield side of the bag, giving himself an extra few inches to reach. Well done. Good use of first base right there to give himself more reach and keep his foot on the bag.
So Castro retired to begin the 6th. Here's Justin Bour. Bour tonight a strikeout and a fly ball to right. Chassin had to use a lot of pitches in the first inning tonight. Mid-80s right now in inning number 6. He's been able to settle. He has had one inning where he retired the side in order. That was the third. But since the first, the Marlins have been able to really move the line here. They had a leadoff walk from Brian Anderson in the second. One out single from Real Muto in the fourth. An infield single from J.B. Shuck to lead off the fifth, but that's been it. Full count now to the Miami first baseman. And the payoff. War is on. One out walk. Now JT Real Muto. One of the holdovers from all of the offseason moves the Marlins made. Real thrilled about it, seeing Yelich and Stanton and Ozuna move on. Real Muto is under club control here for the next few years. So a lot of talk as to what his future may be as he gets a liner out to Lorenzo Cain, who makes the catch. Picked it off the grass for the second out.
Yeah, the advantage of not playing real deep in the outfield. He got a great jump. And able to grab it before it got on the ground. Look at the jump right away. And able to get to the spot and make the catch. That's experience. A lot of young outfielders freeze on that a little bit too long and not able to get there.
Lorenzo Cain in control, making the play. Here's Brian Anderson. We mentioned the Marlins have made a lot of moves. They have some young guys playing regularly, maybe not necessarily by choice. Martin Prado trying to work his way back from a hamstring strain. He's on the DL. Garrett Cooper, the one-time Brewer draft pick, wrist injury on the 60-day.
Yeah, went to the Yankees last year.
A ball, 2 strikes. That's hit into left field. That'll be a base hit. The Marlins with 2 men on.
Well, all singles so far for the Marlins. Had a few walks. Had the 4 hits. Since the first inning, Chassin really has not been in much trouble.
You're right. First time since the first that they have put 2 runners on. Pitcher spot due up. Tomas Tellez will pinch hit. The most serious threat since the opening inning here against Jhoulys Chassin. Tellez a switch hitter. Came over to the Marlins for Sam Dyson. Came over from the Rangers near the trade deadline in 2015. Breaking ball in there. Chassin trying to make this his most effective outing as a Brewer. Start number 5 for him. One pitch.
That's been his best pitch right there, that curveball. So a good break on it. That one actually went down a lot more than some of the others, but that's been a consistent pitch all night for him.
Shoot a walk to Justin Bour, a single to Brian Anderson. Mention his splits, and a lot is made of the home road, but it's also worth mentioning that in the second half of the season, Chassin in his career has been a lot better. His ERA in the second half for his career is about 3.5. First half of the season, it's 4.35.
He likes it warm.
Yes, sir.
Like everybody does.
I was just going to say that, don't we all? Here's a 2-2. Lee split his time last year between the Marlins and AAA New Orleans. He was up and down 3 times. Full count to him as Chacin gets ready for pitch 100 on the night. And here it comes. Brewers have some activity in the bullpen.
I want to know if Jennings is ready. Got Shuck on deck, the lefty.
Jennings has been impressive. See if Chacin can finish this inning. Full count to Tomas Tellez. Tellez wasting a breaking ball. If you're just joining us, the Brewers with a 5-run 4th inning. Back-to-back home runs again. Braun and Shaw tonight. Let's see how Chacin had that busy first inning. He has a chance to get through 6 without giving up a run, and he does just that, getting a ground ball from Tellez. Bottom of the 6th we go as the heart of the order coming up. It'll be Yelich, Braun, and Travis Shaw with the Brewers leading Miami 6-0. Flats in Dallas for all the big selections. April 26th and 27th live on Fox and NFL Network. And always generates a lot of interest around here. Drew Steckenrider on the mound now for Miami.
He's off to a pretty good start this year. Has not allowed a run in his first 9 games. 11 strikeouts and 8 2/3 innings for Steckenrider. Last pitched on the 17th against the Yankees, a scoreless inning.
Facing Christian Yelich. Tyron Guerrero was as advertised.
Yeah.
Faced 4, fanned 4. Touching 100. Yelich a big role in that 5-run 4th inning. After Lorenzo Cain walked with 2 outs, Yelich tripled him home. Three swings, 4 runs in that inning for the Brewers. First pitch bombs from Braun and Shaw, followed the triple from Yelich.
3 consecutive pitches. Yeah.
That's productivity. That's efficiency.
Yeah. Well, why waste them?
That's right. Let's get on with it. 3-1 pitch. And Yelich draws a walk. He's been on base every time tonight.
What's that, 8?
It is. Mentioned that 4th inning after the Yelich run-scoring triple. Our Badger Mutual Insurance plays of the game. Ryan Braun, a 2-run homer, a no-doubter. Likewise, Travis Shaw. They go back-to-back. No doubt there either. Badger Mutual Insurance plays of the game.
They started to swing it a little bit.
A 1,002 RBIs now for Ryan Braun. 3-run homer last night got him to 1,000.
13 hits, 13 RBIs for Braun.
Big ones as well. Game winners. Ball a strike. Braun, one of 10 active players in the 1,000 RBI club. Chase Utley is ahead of him right now with 1,019.
Don't think he's going to catch Robin. 1406.
That'd be a lot of work.
That'd be a lot of runs batted in.
One-two pitch. Braun sends one into right center field. That's a base hit. Yelich on his way to third. And he's in there. Runners at the corners with nobody out.
Well, he's heating up again. Ryan Braun taking a fastball the other way and squaring it up. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy watching Yelich run the bases.
It's fun.
I mean, he glides. He's like Robin used to do. This is just a nice swing, typical of Ryan Braun, getting on top of that pitch away, and he just glides around the bases. Really not a whole lot of extra territory he eats up. Cuts the bases extremely well.
Yeah, you pointed that out in spring training, one of the Cactus League games. There is no wasted space. Christian Yelich is running the bases. Marlins pull the infield in. Travis Shaw at the plate.
It just looks effortless. I mean, for Yelich, I mean, very easy. It looks like an easy run for him, and those long strides, he picks up a lot of ground very quickly.
He was at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Travis Shaw tonight, a double, a home run after walking in the first inning. Drew Steckenrider in some 6th inning trouble. A walk to Yelich, a single from Braun. Home run for Shaw, his 3rd of the year. Now driven in 8. Steckenrider with a 1-1. Bouncing ball over Anderson. One scoring single as Yelich is in, and it's a 7-0 lead for Milwaukee.
Well, it's Travis Shaw's turn tonight. 3 for 3, a walk, and a couple of RBIs. Hit drawing the infield, beats it into the ground and hops it right over the third baseman's head. The risk of bringing your infield in, even with the bag. And Christian Yelich able to score.
7 runs, 7 hits. Here's Thames. Thames has walked twice tonight. One of them with the bases loaded. That was in the first inning. The 1-0.
And looking at the scorecard tonight, the top 5 in the batting order have been on base 15 times today. That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Walks, hits, hit batter mixed in there.
Ball a strike to Thames. Catches the corner to Steckenrider. Debut season in the big leagues was last year. Appeared in 37 games. Racked up a lot of strikeouts in his brief time up a year ago. Thames back in the lineup tonight. Came in late in the ball game yesterday. Jesus Aguilar had the start with a lefty Dylan Peters on the mound for the Marlins. Braun a single, Shaw an RBI single. They are your base runners. Thames goes down swinging for out number 1. The last 5 outs recorded by Marlins pitching have been strikeouts, 4 of them from Tyron Guerrero. Here's VR. He's been a part of the walk parade tonight. Going after the first pitch and sending it down the line, and that's a foul ball.
VR has done a lot of damage to the opposite field this year and just misses the left field line with this. Good job staying back, getting on top of it. Hit a home run in New York just like that.
He did. It was a home run that amazed a lot of people. Kept waiting for it to slice foul. It never did. Two strikes and nothing now to the second baseman. Stranded some runners tonight, but his overall numbers with runners in scoring position still 6 for 15. It's been a good department for him. And he goes down on strikes.
Back-to-back sliders to get VR. Got good wood on the fastball, and then Steckenrider said enough of that. He's going to have to hit my breaking pitch. Down in the zone over the plate. Nice tight slider.
2 outs, 2 on. Drew Steckenrider battling back here, getting Thames and VR. Now he faces Orlando Arcia. Got those streaks going pretty impressively. Some of us is just gray.
Yeah.
Him, not so much.
The color's natural for us.
That's right. No balls, 2 strikes. Brewers with a run across here in the 6th inning. A Travis Shaw run scoring single. There's the 0-2. Back up the middle, and it is knocked away by Castro. Rounding third is Braun, and he will score. It's 8-0.
There you go. Pretty good piece of hitting by Orlando Arce with 2 strikes. Shortening up, just putting the bat on the baseball. Pretty good effort by Castro to try and keep it in the infield. They have 2 outs, a man at second. You're taught to try and do whatever you can to keep it in the infield, and just not able to do it. Ryan Braun realizes where that baseball is. Eddie Cedar going to send him. Another run on the board.
Another big night for the Milwaukee Brewers offense. Jet Bandy looking for his first hit. And he thought he got clipped, and he did for the 4th time this season. He is hit by a pitch. Well, if you're going to get hit, it's about the best way to get hit.
Yeah, a little bit of a, little loose on the pants. That helped that time.
And now Jesus Aguilar will pinch hit for Ulysses Chassin. Aguilar with his first 3 RBIs of the season last night. And they're loaded up for the big man. He is in the lineup. He has really been producing. 3-hit night for him last evening, and a big rip right there.
Hitting over 400, I'll say. 414. Incredible hitter.
Had 5 starts this season, and in 3 of those games he has had 3-hit ball games. 1-1 pitch. This is popped up very high. Justin Bohr will handle it. And that'll do it for the Brewers in the 6th, but they pick up a couple of more runs. We move to the 7th, 8-0 Brew Crew.
By T-Mobile, a dream pitchers duel here between Clayton Kershaw and Max Scherzer, but the Nationals will get it going right away in the first inning. There's a look at Bryce Harper with an RBI single to right, Yasiel Puig to score Trey Turner. The Nats would jump out to a 2-0 lead, and that is the score as they're in the bottom of the 2nd at Dodger Stadium. We'll keep an eye on that one. Scherzer and Kershaw going head-to-head.
Yeah, that's big time matchup right there out in LA. Brewers with big time offense once again. 8-0 they lead. And now Dan Jennings is on for Milwaukee.
Well, part of a very good bullpen for the Brewers. Jennings picked up right before spring training. Nice should say, right at the end of spring training. An 11th appearance, a 186 earned run average for Jennings. Filling in for Boone Logan, who's also on the road to recovery. Brewers got a lot of options as far as pitching goes very quickly.
Yeah, we're talking with David Stearns about the organizational depth of this Brewers operation, and even with the trade to get Yelich, they're giving up a lot of quality in terms of young talent, but they still have a lot of it. J.B. Shuck will lead things off. And in the case of Jennings, he's released by the Rays near the end of March. Brewers wasted no time snapping him up.
Man, last pitched on Wednesday against the Reds, retired the only batter that he faced. Got a double play ball, and it was a big one.
It was a pair of 2-0 Brewer victories over Cincinnati. Wednesday afternoon game, just like Tuesday night. Eric Thames with the 2-run homers. But the work of the bullpen, I mean, you could say pitching in general, but the bullpen has just been terrific.
The starting rotation is starting to come around as well. Last 13 games now, they've been pretty good. Chassin able to pitch 6 innings tonight. Starting to eat up a few more innings.
Yeah, very important. He needed 27 pitches to get through the first inning, and you're thinking, this might be tough to even get through 4. Gave up nothing but harmless singles here tonight. Just 4 hits allowed by Elise Chassin. 3 walks, striking out 5. Ended up with a pitch count of 102. Jennings ready with a 2-2. And they say he held up. Chad Fairchild over there at third.
Well, he starts the bat. Is he able to hold up? They could have rung that up.
J.B. Shuck gets the benefit of the doubt. An infield single in the 5th inning. In the air to left center field. Arcia going out and making the catch.
What a catch.
Wow.
Goodness gracious, huh? Look at Jennings. I mean, I don't think anybody was looking at Arcia to make that catch. Everybody looking in the outfield. He just kind of throws the glove up there, and lo and behold, it was in there. I'll put a circle around that play. You're going to see that a bunch for a while. One of the best plays you're ever going to see from a shortstop. Check this out. Going back, I don't even think he knew where it was. I got it, no problem. That was amazing. Man.
If it's in the park, and we see this time and again where he sprints out there on fly balls that, the left fielder is going to go play, and he's out there just in case. And there's just another example. If it's in the yard, he thinks he can go get it.
Everybody watching Ryan Braun to see he was going to be able to get there, but there it was, the kid. He's out there and makes the catch. Man, wow. What can he do, right? Defensively, incredible plays that he's able to make.
A ball, a strike to Cameron Maben.
Can't look at this enough. Check this out. I mean, he's trying to keep an eye on it. Throws the glove out there, and kind of turns around and says, Brawny, don't worry about it. I got it. You just stay put.
A ball, 2 strikes. Well, the look on Jennings there, trying to look cool, but he's got his hands on his head.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think everybody did. I did.
Yeah. Thought that was one of those no man's land bloops. But Arcia says, nope, I got this. Full count now there, Maven.
Keep that for the resume tape.
He is so much fun to watch. There's a rocket for an arm. And just a little bit of range, as we saw.
Yeah.
Jennings ready with the 3-2 to Maben, and that is a called third strike for the second out of the inning.
Now, how far does he go for this? 24. I should say 73 feet. Wow.
That's covering a lot of ground in a short period of time.
Yeah. 24 miles an hour.
That's moving. Feet per second.
24.
Yeah, 24 miles an hour. That would really be good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. How fast can a guy run?
That's right. You know what that was? That was really fast.
24 feet per second.
That's point A to point B right now. Derek Dietrich at the plate. Slider for Jennings. Brewers bullpen did not allow a hit last night. Jennings on relief for Chacin. 6 shutout innings for Chacin. Another slider in the air, left center. Braun will squeeze it, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Dan Jennings with a highlight reel play brought to you by Orlando Arcia. And all of his teammates going, wow, what a catch. 8-0 Brew Crew, stretch time. Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lights, great taste and only 96 calories, and by Toyota. Let's go places. All smiles here at Miller Park, at least so far. So far, so really good. 8-0 Milwaukee leading Miami. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock, weekdays at 4 p.m. Central, only on FS1. New pitcher on the mound for Miami, Kyle Bearclaw.
Love it. One of the best names in the big leagues. Bearclaw with a 270 earned run average. By the way, you know that 24 feet per second thing? It's actually 16.4 miles an hour.
That's some good work.
So I wasn't that far off.
Who did that for you?
I'm not saying.
It's moving is what it is.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was starting to really feel bad about saying miles an hour, but hey, let's say 17 miles an hour.
You know what? It looked like he was I'd have bought it. Got out there moving smoothly. Lorenzo Cain reached 3 times tonight. Infield single, a couple of walks. Cain, Yelich, and Braun here in the 7th inning. Cain goes down swinging. First out of the inning. He's been doing this when he's been on the mound. Bear Claw so far this season for Miami. Now the former Marlin again, Christian Yelich. Having himself a night. Got the scoring started in that 5-run 4th inning. RBI triple. Marlins haven't gotten him out yet. Brewers won the opener last night 12-3. Yelich has walked twice, hit by a pitch, in addition to that RBI triple. There's a ground ball snapped up by Justin Bour. Out number 2. Bearclaw was a part of a couple of near no-hitters last year. They were on the brink of a couple of combined no-hitters. Middle of April last year against the Mets. That's broken up with 2 outs in the 8th. Then a couple of days later, he was on the mound against the Mariners. Mitch Haniger broke up the bid. A 1-out double. Combined no-hitters. You go back a couple of years ago, Adam Conley here at Miller Park pitched 7 2/3 of no-hit ball. Only broken up by Jonathan Lucroy with 1 out of the 9th. That's against Jose Urania, who will be on the mound to start for Miami tomorrow.
The Brewers almost were able to come back and win that game. Conley started.
Got a little rally going. Things haven't been even close to the same for Conley since in the minor leagues.
Yeah, he's been getting hit pretty hard, hasn't he?
That ERA is way up there. They also have a veteran pitcher, Dan Straley, who is on the disabled list. So it's not all by choice that some of these young guys are in the rotation for the Marlins.
Yeah, but you need that veteran influence with a bunch of young guys. You need somebody to kind of take them in and try and bring them along. Not just the coaching staff.
3 balls, 1 strike to Ryan Braun. A 2-run homer from Bronny in the 4th inning. Singled and scored in the 6th. Kyle Bearclaw ready with the 3-1.
Took a little off.
Ryan's going, where'd that come from?
I didn't know even through that, he's thinking.
Here comes a 3-2. And that'll do it for the Brewers. Kyle Bearclaw with a 1-2-3 inning. Getting a couple of punch outs. Let's move to the 8th. 8-0 Milwaukee. Brewers. 6 innings of 4 hits, shutout ball. And the Brewers put together a big inning. Christian Yelich with a 2-out run scoring triple. That got him rolling in inning number 4. Ryan Braun with a 2-run homer, his second bomb in as many nights. And once again, just like last night, the Brewers go back-to-back. It was Arcia last night following Braun. Tonight it's Travis Shaw as he goes deep. All part of a 5-run 4th inning to help pop the game open. The Brewers with a couple of more in the 6th. Now lead 8-0 as we move on to inning number 8. Taylor Williams now on the mound for the Brewers.
Yeah, back-to-back appearances for Taylor. He pitched the scoreless inning last night. Had a walk, had a strikeout. Overall, a .360 earned run average for the young right-hander.
Can't say enough how impressive this guy is. Toward the end of spring training, they used him in back-to-back games for the first time, and continuing to test him and see where he is with that arm. And the answer has been the arm's pretty good.
Yeah. Nearly made the ball club out of spring training. The Brewers were really thinking he might be one of the guys in the pen to start the season. Did not. Actually had him pitch back-to-back days in spring, which is somewhat unusual, to see if he could do it. Well, he's done it.
He's ahead of Miguel Rojas, 2 strikes and nothing. Velocity very good for Taylor Williams. Trying to write a good story for himself. 2 seasons wiped out.
Not a big guy, but generates an awful lot of power with those legs. Pushes off hard with that back leg, and big time velocity for Williams.
2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed as Bandy will need to secure it, and he does for out number 1.
Hey, all season long you can stay in the loop on all things Brewers with MLB.com @Bat app, the official app of the Brewers. With @Bat you get breaking news, live radio broadcasts, and lineup updates, and right to your fingertips. Download @Bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
Doing that right now, as a matter of fact. A lot of news in baseball. The Boston Red Sox off to a 16-2 start. And pretty good story. Dial up on the app about how this start for the Red Sox has not been seen in all 31 years.
87.
Your 87 Brewers.
17-1, I think.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yep. A little love for that club you were a big part of in 1987.
Yeah.
And I still say, from the outside looking in, that I don't think that club got enough credit, because in today's baseball, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
90+ win team. You know, there was the team streak and all of that. You guys were good.
I'll say this, that I don't think anybody wanted to play the Brewers that year. You know, if we ended up getting into the playoffs, we were good in September. We had a really bad month of May. Lost 12 in a row in May. But really turned it on in the second half.
We talked a lot about the no-hitter. Juan Nieves, the pitching coach for Miami. But, you guys were just flat out good. And Taylor Williams is flat out good as he strikes out Starlin Castro for out number 2.
You know what it takes to have a start like that, you know, in a team. Again, I mean, it's one of those years we didn't make the playoffs, so take it all with a grain of salt. But a lot of guys had really good years.
Yeah.
You know, Dale Swaim out of the number 9 spot, 97 RBIs. I mean, you know, Molly with the streak. Robin was doing what he does.
Well, it was a different format. You just had the 2 divisions. You had to win your division to get into a 3 out of 5 to get to the World Series. More playoff spots available now.
That was fun. Top Troublehorns, Milwaukee Brewers that year.
Justin Bohr at the plate. That 87 team went 91-71. You win 91 games now, you take your chances. You're going to get yourself into the postseason.
At least get into one of those wild card spots.
1-1 pitch. Scoots him back, which he is not afraid to do. He will work you inside. Or a strikeout, a fly ball, and a walk tonight. For the Brewers, you take that. He's had good numbers in this park as Justin Bour. Here comes the 3-1.
Yeah, one hit in the series. It was a single his first at bat last night. Able to handle pretty much he and Castro.
He came to town having homered 4 times in his last 7 games. Payoff pitch coming from Williams. Getting ready for the 3-2 pitch to the Miami first baseman. And Taylor Williams gets another one. This is an impressive young man out of the bullpen. 8-0 Brewers in the 8th.
Johnson said, and Jerry, second night in a row, big offensive explosion by the Brewers.
Well, you got to like the way their approach is at the plate, swinging the bat very well. We've seen the home runs, we've seen the manufacturing of runs, but how about the top of the order tonight?
Oh, man, it's been phenomenal. And coming up on Brewers Live, we'll take a look at that top of the order, as well as the rest of the Brewers order. Plus, take a look at Yolis Chacin and his great outing in this one. And, of course, hear from manager Craig Counsell. But for now, let's send it back up to Matt LePay and Rock for the remainder of the game.
All right, Dario, Augie, thank you very much. Travis Shaw leading off the bottom of the 8th for Milwaukee, and now Brad Ziegler getting some work for the Marlins.
Yeah, really having a rough time of it. This guy's been pretty good throughout his career. Earned run average at 8.
It's a ground ball from Travis Shaw for out number 1.
Pretty good first inning for Taylor Williams, huh? My goodness.
Striking out the side.
Top of the order. Put him down easily. Looks like he might go out for another inning.
Very, very sharp out there. Here's Eric Thames. walked in a run in the first inning. Walked a couple of times tonight. Ziegler, not a hard thrower, known for that slider. You're right, though, he did struggle last year. He became their closer at 10 saves, but had 5 blown saves. Was not entirely healthy a year ago. Back trouble. Veteran, 38 years old.
I was going to say he's been around a long time.
Thames to center field. Maben going back, and he'll have to play that off the wall. As that'll be a double for Eric Thames, hit number 9 for the Brewers tonight.
And just golf that one, you know, sinker down the middle of the plate, and boy, Thames is feeling it up there at the plate. A lot of power. Look at the release point right there, and down in the strike zone, not a good idea to a lot of left-handers, particularly Eric Thames, and he rips one over the head of Maben out there. 9 hits for the Brewers now.
A 1-out double from the first baseman. Here's Jonathan Villar. A rugged night for Villar. He has struck out 3 times. Did walk in the 4th inning.
Made a couple of nice plays at second base though tonight.
Yeah, he did. He did, and Orlando Arcia, who's on deck, had a spectacular play. Brewers have been error-free tonight. That was the case last night. They won on Wednesday against the Reds despite committing 3 errors. Ziegler in some work. He is their closer. Was out there 3 days ago for the Marlins. Had a career high 30 saves with the Diamondbacks 3 years ago. He was a big workload guy. Had a league leading 78 appearances with Arizona back in 2013.
Yeah, Marlins only have 1 save this year. A rough start.
As you might imagine, I know many of you are, you're familiar with Ziegler, big ground ball guy, a big part of his career. When he's on, the ball, 2 strikes to VR. And Jonathan again strikes out. 2 men out here in the 8th.
It's been one of those nights at the plate for Jonathan Villar. Hey, tonight's Tavern of the Game winner, Hideaway Tavern in Salem, if they call the Brewers. By 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You know, Salem, that's up in Damian Miller country.
You knew that.
Up toward La Crosse.
Yeah.
West Salem.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Sure Damian's watching tonight.
Enjoying what he's seeing. Now, did you just know that right away? Because our normal, you know, our Tavern of the Game locator is unavailable unless Rick is also a Tavern of the Game locator. Here's Arcia, base hit to right field. Thames will be held at third. And a big turn, Arcia, and he gets hurt going back, and he's going to be out. But the bigger issue is his right foot or right ankle.
Yeah, ankle. Oh, boy. In an 8-0 game.
Now going all out, taking the big turn. Just jammed it, trying to get back to the bag.
Yeah, right there you can see he rolls the ankle. He's off the bag. He gets tagged, so he's out. But more importantly, how bad is the ankle?
Oh, on a night where, as you said, the Brewers with a commanding lead, something like this happens. That is a tough one. We will move to the 9th inning here at Miller Park with the Brewers leading Miami 8-0.
I got to make a correction, you know, on the Tavern of the Game.
He has some bad info.
You know what? I was really feeling good about myself. Hideaway Tavern in Salem, that's in Kenosha County. It's not West Salem. West Salem is up by La Crosse.
Okay.
So my apologies. I don't think Damian Miller's in Kenosha County.
You can say that with some degree of confidence.
No, pretty close.
Oh, we have that clarified.
Yeah.
Eric Sogard now in at shortstop, and not by choice. Orlando Arcia, who had a 2-out single, took a big turn at first, and then looked like he rolled his ankle trying to get back to the bag.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, a night that has been really good for the Brewers. That is a tough note. So stick around for Brewers Live. Dario and Augie. Craig Counsell will, as always, address the media.
Yeah, he went into that bag really hard with that leg. Rolled it.
Second inning of work for Taylor Williams. He struck out the side in the 8th inning. Real Muto, Brian Anderson, and then the pitcher's spot here in the 9th inning for the Marlins. Brewers pitchers now have 9 strikeouts, 5 from Chacin, 1 from Jennings, and 3 for Taylor Williams. Eight runs on 10 hits for the Crew, nothing on 4 for the Marlins. Four hits, they are all singles. Here's a 3-1. And there's a leadoff walk to JT Real Muto. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that'll keep a manager up a little bit. I mean, you're in control of the game, but your shortstop is in. Looks like he's hurt.
That does not look like the face of a manager that has an 8-0 lead. That looks like a serious look on his face.
Here is Brian Anderson, the third baseman.
And he went back into that bag, so I guess we assume it's an ankle. We don't want to. I guess we're not sure. It looked like it. Could be something else.
Just the fact he was putting very little weight on it, so gingerly walking off. But we'll see.
Yeah,
Find out.
We're not doctors.
Nope. Anderson has reached twice, a walk and a single. And Taylor Williams having a little trouble locating the strike zone right now, so Jet Bandy will have a quick chat with him.
Second inning work is always a challenge. Guys that aren't used to throwing multiple innings.
Council and Derek Johnson need them to try to finish it, but the Brewers bullpen starting to stir a little bit. Leadoff walk to Real Muto. Now the 2-1 to Anderson. This is popped up. And calling for it will be Eric Sogard for out number 1.
Say, Jonathan, get out of my way, man.
Let's check out what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Game 3 of the series coming up tomorrow. Brent Suter on the mound for the Brew Crew. Jose Urena will go for the Marlins. Our coverage starts tomorrow at 5:30 right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Brent needs a good start. Got roughed up a bit his last time out.
Yeah, one tough inning got him against the Reds.
And it was quick.
There's Brian Holiday. He will pinch hit.
It was about a stretch of what, like 4 or 5 hitters that it was only about 10 pitches.
Right. It turned in a hurry on him. Marlins carry 3 catchers. Holiday is one of them. Seen them all tonight. Tomas Tellez pinch hit in the 6th inning. Holiday doing it here in the 9th. He's 30-year-old, 6th round pick by the Tigers back in 2010. Was in their system last year, spent most of that season with their AAA affiliate in Toledo. The 1-1. There's a ground ball. Shaw, the sliding stop, and from his knee the throw, and not able to scoop it is Eric Thames. Runners at first and second with 1 out.
His best chance was going to be second base when he was on his knees like that. And a Real Muto gets down that line pretty good for a catcher. Was able to keep it in the glove, but really doesn't have a play at second base and nothing doing at first. I guess if Thames holds on to it, he's out, but that was a tough pick in between hop.
So 2 men on here for the Marlins. So if the Brewers can secure this shutout, J.B. Shuck at the plate. He had a hit taken away on the defensive play of the night in the 7th inning. Garcia going out into left center field, sprinting out there to make a terrific catch. Now some concern for Arcia after coming out of the game. Turned to the bag at first after a single to right. Took a big turn. Hit the bag pretty hard with that right foot.
Yeah, he did. And that bag's not going to move. Yeah, the leg moves in ways it probably shouldn't.
A ball, a strike to J.B. Shuck. A couple of catchers are out there on the bases for the Marlins, and there is a base hit to center field. Real Muto will be held at third, and the Marlins have the bases loaded with 1 out. See if Council makes a move. He has Oliver Drake getting ready.
He's going to keep a close eye on the pitch count. You know, for Williams, it's at 31.
And Council will go ahead and make the move. Well, Williams struck out the side in the 8th inning. walk, an infield hit, and a single to center. Williams able to get Brian Anderson on a pop-up, but he will leave with 1 out in the 9th inning. Oliver Drake will come in with the Brewers leading Miami 8-0.
You'll get a free ice cream bar courtesy of Blue Ribbon Classics. Reserve your tickets today at brewers.com.
That's a good deal. Oliver Drake now on for the Brewers. Bases are loaded for the Marlins, so exit Williams, enter Oliver Drake.
Yeah, last time we saw Drake was last night. He tossed a scoreless inning, included a strikeout, a 3-up, 3-down 8th. Had 1 rough inning, and that was against Cincinnati. Gave up 6 runs on 6 hits. Other than that, he's been extremely good.
Yeah, the life of a relief pitcher. 1 bad outing blows up the ERA. Here's Cameron Maben. Came in as part of a double switch in the 4th inning. Real Muto started this inning with a walk. An infield single and a single to center has him loaded here for the Marlins. Maben is lined to center. Took a called 3rd strike in the 7th. Drake trying to finish this one off. 1 strike pitch. Maben got picked up in August by the Astros off waivers. Helped Houston to the World Series title. A thrilling 7-game series against the Dodgers. Been part of that terrific draft class in 2005. He was the 10th overall pick. Ryan Braun was 5th that year. Two and 1 the count. Making this a little difficult here in the 9th inning.
Yeah. Couple of hits, a walk, and Drake 1 pitch out of the strike zone away from walking in a run. What you don't want to have to do if you're Craig Counsell is bring in one of your big boys out of the bullpen to finish this up.
Josh Hader on Tuesday night, a 6-out save. Jacob Barnes, a 6-out save on Wednesday afternoon. 3-1 pitch. It was a good bounce back outing yesterday for Drake. after the Reds roughed him up on Monday.
A couple of ground balls and a strikeout.
Full count to Cameron Maben. Signed with the Marlins the third week of February. And he went around, and that is out number 2. Big strikeout.
And went with a splitter on the full count. Cameron Maben was selling out for the fastball. Figured that's what he's getting with an 8-0 lead. And there's the split. And can't hold up.
Say big strikeout. I know it's an 8-run game. Guy trying to have back-to-back good appearances after a rough one on Monday. Look at the big picture here. Here's Derek Dietrich. And a bouncing ball. Eric Thames to Oliver Drake, and the Brewers have their third shutout in the last 4 games. Lorenzo Cain at the top of the order, a catalyst once again. Yelich and Braun, they were catalyst as well, as the Brewers put together a 5-run fourth to help break this open. And now they have a 4-game winning streak. Brewers over the Marlins tonight, 8-0. Dario and Augie are standing by with Brewers Live postgame.
Matt and Rod, thanks so much. 4 straight games, a season-high win streak for the Brew Crew. Coming up on Brewers Live, we'll take a look at Yoeli Chassin's first win of the season, and obviously hear from manager Craig Counsell after yet another big win, and get an update on Orlando Arcia.